Hey, just I guess, what are you liking about these fast practices? I mean, you guys seem to be in and out of there pretty quick. What's that allowing you guys to get accomplished?
I tell you, we've been on this Zoom world for so long, and we've actually got to spend more time with our kids, in actual meeting time, so classroom time, basically. And so I kind of like it. I'm getting a little old too, so I don't have to be out there as long. But it's been fun. And it's like any 18, 19-year-old kid, their attention span is so much, just so much. So we can get out there, get our work done. The kids are really staying focused. So it's been fun.
And just in terms of Grant's footwork, I know he's talked about, working on that. What are some of the improvements you wanted to see him make in that respect, and kind of just how you need him to be moving in the pocket?
There you are. I couldn't see you. Grant has been something that's really actually helped him too. Grant needed a lot of work as far as his pocket presence. He's such a big, tall, long guy. All right. And so working on his quickness in the pocket and creating passing lanes and sliding in the pocket. So we've had a lot of time to work on that. We've had some time to, just clean up some fundamentals. And actually, I think he's thrown it as well as I've seen him throw it since he's been here.
I guess your relationship with Grant over the last few months has been virtual, but how has it grown from spring ball throughout the summer and then now?
Well, for one thing, this whole thing started, and then we didn't have the spring ball, which was tough on everybody, every college football team. And then they came back because it was such a fluid situation with when we would start. The season was going to start now. It's going to start here. And so there were so many unknowns. So Grant has been in town since those times. So we got a chance to really develop our relationship and spend a lot of time on our Zoom virtual meetings. And then when they allowed us to go on the field and actually have, our 8 hours a week and get to work on, football specific stuff, we had a ton of time, just he and I to spend on the field, just working on things you really never have time to work on in the course of a camp, a real camp in a season. So I think it's been really beneficial for him. And so, obviously the closer that he and I become, knowing each other and knowing what his strengths and weaknesses, and the same for him, knowing my strengths and weaknesses, I think it's a better situation.
And he was one of the more outspoken players for playing football this year with the We Want to Play movement. What does it say about a guy who is just a freshman kind of, stepping up into that leadership role?
Well, one thing you got to know about Grant is Grant has unbelievable passion for this game, right? And he wants to be really good at it. So he has those ingredients already. And so obviously this is something that he's worked, basically his whole young life up to this point to want to play major college football. And so I think it's just very, very important to him. And he, to be honest with you, even with the unknowns of when we were going to play or if we were going to play, he never took a day off. So he was going to be prepared to play this season if it started now or it started in the first of the year or it started in 2021 fall.
I was going to ask you about Grant sending that letter to the governor of California. I feel like it's one thing to, put a hashtag out on Twitter, but to actually pen a letter to the governor of a state. What did that act say to you about him? He is a very unselfish guy. Like, I had no idea he did any of that stuff. He just did it. He's a very unselfish person. So I think it just shows that his, what was important was just not, hey, I want to play football this year and it's about me. I think what it shows is that his love for the game and that he was just his overall, concern about all of college football, about how important it is to our communities and to our states. And I think he sees that. And so I think that was a pretty mature thing for him to do. Coach Sumlin has talked about sort of figuring out who our playmakers are on the perimeter. How do you feel about that group of guys and where things stand at the moment with that?
Well, I cannot question at all their 1-2 and their hard work right now, because they've come out and had 2 great days. The downside of all this, right, for all of this was that spring ball is usually your evaluation time. So you got to make some decisions on some players. And hey, this guy's a real, where do we fit him into the offense, and what can we do with this guy, and what's his strengths? Well, we didn't have that. So right now, here for about a week or so, that we're kind of going through that process. And I think any good football team has competition. You got guys that are pushing each other. It's not like, okay, we got 3 receivers and the rest of the guys can't play. All right, that's not a good situation. I think we're in a great situation now because we've developed some depth. We've got guys pushing each other, and so it's like life, right? Performance based, and so they understand when they go out there, they need to perform or they could lose their job. And so it's been a really good, healthy competition.
Josh mentioned earlier that the unusual offseason was a bit of a struggle for everyone. Despite all that, do you feel like there were any positives to having this extra long offseason?
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of have a little COVID fatigue, right? The best thing about them letting us finally get out and practice is I basically have no more Netflix shows to binge watch. Okay, so I was in trouble. But I think it's kind of funny is it mentally, we are so much further ahead now than I think I've ever been. And I think it's been because of our what Coach Sumlin and our administration people did for setting us up, with the meetings and the time and having Zooms with our players and getting to spend time with them on Zoom. That's kind of like a way of life for us now. And so I think that mentally has really put us ahead of the curve. Right now they can go out and they feel comfortable with the verbiage and all the things mentally that you need to know in this game. And now I think they can go out and just play.
Now that you guys are in that daily quadell testing, how's that working out? How's that flowing with that new protocol?
I think fine. I mean, every guy's been out there. I mean, I don't really know how that whole thing works, David, but all I know is that I passed every test so far, so that was good. I mean, I think they're doing a great job. It's been unbelievable. I mean, the guys they're getting a lot of things done in a lot of important things done in a very short period of time, with making sure our kids are safe and staying in the protocol. And we've had the kids out on the field, and the kids have done a great job with maintaining their protocol also.
So 2 questions. One, you said you binge watched Netflix shows. What were you watching?
Oh my gosh, Ozark. Have you not seen Ozark yet?
Have not.
We'll put that on your list. Okay. Ozark and Money Heist.
Okay.
Now I don't know. You might have trouble with Money Heist because it's subtitles, so you might have to read a lot. I don't know, but yes.
And then my next question is, it seems like this extra time off was very beneficial for Jamari Joyner.
Yes.
For rehabbing that injury. What have you seen out of him just from being back, and what are you expecting out of him this year?
I see a really good athlete that kind of got thrust into a important position last year as a redshirt freshman, but very athletic. And I see that same guy coming back a lot more mature, a lot more feeling comfortable lining up with the receiver spot. And who knows? He may still line up with some quarterback spot too. We don't know, right? But he's just such a versatile kid that he brings so much to our offense at different positions. And on top of that, I think he's one of our top playmakers.
Beyond Grant, what are your just thoughts on the overall quarterback room right now?
Like I said, it's had a chance for the Will Plumbers and the Lukes and the Doyles and those guys because of all the meeting time we've had on Zoom mentally to watch video and just have really time to discuss things and kind of dive into the mental part of the game. I think it's really helped those guys. Now the downside is that, like I was talking about earlier, is I wanted to come out of spring ball with those guys competing, so Coach Sumlin and I could really evaluate our quarterback's position with those guys, because besides Rhett, who is the old man of the group, and he's been in games and he really understands the offense, I got 3 young guys that have really no experience. And so, missing the spring ball probably on the field stuff hurt those guys the worst. But I think mentally they're ahead of the game right now. And now it's just a matter of them taking that information to the field and being able to do it on the field. So, same thing. I think Coach and I want to go here for about a week or so and give these guys a chance to show where they are in their growth, and then kind of make some decisions on the position behind Grant.
Coach, what did the return of Donovan Lay mean for the offense?
Can you write that in your paper? Huh? Coach thrusts arms into the air. Okay. It was, and it was awesome. Donovan is such an awesome guy and an awesome player, and was very important. And I mean, for him to make the decision he made, which I believe 1,000% was, he made the right decision, and he believes that too. I'm pretty sure of, was not only, I think, the best decision for him, but for this football team, and because he's such a well-liked, not only a good player, but a well-liked person on this football team. And he's one of the guys on our offense that's played in a lot of games and brings us some experience. So yeah, that was there was a few kind of nail-biting days there a week or so ago. But man, it's just been awesome having him back, and he's been doing great. Got a smile on his face, and he's really doing a good job.